Welcome back. In this lesson, I'll show you how to use modal windows. Now, if you're not sure what a modal window is, well, it's simple. It's one of those windows that show up on a darker semi-transparent background, and you either have to click on a close button or you just click outside it to close it. So the markup is pretty straightforward. You start with a div with a class of modal. You give it an ID, let's say modal 1, and then you would give it a tab index of -1, so we can't tab through its contents, and a role of dialog, and this is just to help with accessibility. Next, inside, it's the actual modal dialog, so you need to create a div with that class. After it, you have a div with a class of modal content. And I know this is lots of markup, but it's necessary in order to properly style it. Now, inside modal content, you have three sections basically: the header, the body, and the footer. So let's start with the header. Modal header. This will usually contain the close button and the title. So the close button is going to be a button, and it's going to have a class of close. The content is going to be the times symbol, which is an X. And another attribute that we got to set is data dismiss modal. Basically, we're telling the button to close a modal window like this. And it's always going to close its parent window. Next is the title. So I'm going to use an H4 with a class of modal title. Of course, you can use any type of heading you want, and then modal title. Okay, if we refresh, we can't see it yet because it's a modal window. It only appears when triggered. So let's create the button that will actually trigger it. I'm gonna place it right here. I'm gonna say button type is gonna be button. We can leave this out if you want. Class, let's set a btn primary. And then data toggle, this is very important, set a modal, so it will toggle a modal window. And then data target is going to target the ID of my modal window, which is modal 1. Yeah, the one that we put right here. And for text, I'm going to say demo modal. Refresh, and when I click it, there it is. That's the modal window. Click and close it. Okay, now we did the header. Next is the modal body, in which I'm just going to place some lorem ipsum text. And then it's the modal footer, which contains pretty much anything you want, but in my case, I'm just going to put two buttons. So I'm going to have an anchor tag with the class of btn and btn default ×2. Yeah, one of them is going to say close. And for this one, I'm going to add data dismiss equals modal, just like I did on this button. And this one is the primary, and I'm just going to say save. Okay, let's refresh, close, save. And this is basically how you do a modal window. If you want it to fade in when it's being shown, simply add the class of fade to modal. So now it has this nice fade in effect. If you want a bigger or a smaller modal window, you have two classes that you can use. The first one, and you need to add it right here to modal dialog. First one is modal LG, which is a large, and the size refers to the width of the modal window. And the second one is modal SM, or small. And this is a very narrow modal window. Now, in Bootstrap 3, modal windows are acting very well on smaller screen sizes. So if I resize my page here, and I click on the modal, notice my modal window resizes automatically. So resize this again, And there it is. Pretty cool, right? So there you go. With a few simple classes and some data attributes, you can create working modal windows very fast. Now, for the final theory lesson, I want to show you two more components, the carousel and the collapse element. That's up next.